So just for the record, this is the only time I'm gonna be referring to this unless I review Aquaman 2. But if this film were released a decade later, you know that David Fincher would be really tempted to cast Johnny Depp as Nick Dunn, because the real life parallels would be haunting. Back to the David Fincher series, folks, and well, we made it. The most recent film in his filmography, Gone Girl. This film came out 6 years ago, guys. Sheesh, time flies when you're having fun. We've missed you, Fincher. But this one stars Ben Affleck and Rosamund Pike in an Oscar-nominated turn, and I feel like this film is still one of Fincher's most socially relevant today. And Ben Affleck plays a struggling writer in this film named Nick Dunn, and he owns a really beautiful property in suburban Missouri. He's living a really happy, mellow lifestyle. But his wife, Amy, played by Rosamund Pike, suddenly goes missing on their 5th wedding anniversary. And sure enough, Nick and his house becomes the center of public attention because he's the prime suspect in her disappearance, perhaps even murder. And the resulting police pressure and media frenzy cause the Dunn's image of a happy union to crumble, leading to some truly mind-bending questions about who Nick and Amy truly are as human beings. So I'm just gonna cut right to the chase here. I'm not gonna beat around the bush. Gone Girl is up. It really messes with your head every time you pop it in, but I can't help but keep wanting to go back to this film because it really deeply affected me the first time I saw it. And on this rewatch, I'm just gonna say it, that fascination has not gone anywhere. I honestly think Gone Girl is one of Fincher's best. It's not necessarily because of how messy the subject matter is, or even how well made this film is, because let's face it, if you've been watching this whole playlist, I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but David Fincher's films always look brilliant. He just has a method to his madness. Point being, if Fincher's name is on a film, you know that the technicals are going to be absolutely seamless. This is such a clean, spotless looking feature. It's extremely well shot and the editing is truly something to behold. But I want to talk a little bit about the writing for a second. This was actually based off of a novel written by Gillian Flynn. And this film's unlike most other films that are based off of a novel or a series of novels. It actually has the benefit of the author coming in to pen the screenplay. And Flynn's writing, even 6 years after the fact, it is still disturbing how much it sticks with me. Even on constant rewatches, it still feels wholly new to me. Just listening to a lot of this dialogue, there are some really haunting messages about marriage, especially with how Rosamund Pike is dealing with this relationship. And don't worry, just in case you've never seen Gone Girl, I'm not going to spoil what she says or does, but just seeing her madness unravel is almost sickening in a lot of ways. And it really establishes a compelling mystery, which I mentioned in my last review for this playlist. Fincher has a niche here. But then again, Gone Girl feels so different from a film like Seven, or even The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. There's not really a bunch of gruesome, gory, physical deterioration in the imagery, but instead we get some really gruesome, off-putting personalities sprinkled throughout the entire runtime. Which, speaking of the runtime, the film is 2.5 hours, but it really does not feel like it. This film flies by. And even though this film is on the longer side, I was sad when it ended. Not because of how it ended necessarily, but these characters are just so investing. I felt like I could have watched them for days because this story is that investing, and not only that, but also the message that it carries. That honestly may be the most impactful thing to come out of Gone Girl. In many ways, I think this film is a cautionary tale because there are loads of news outlets that are hammering down on this guy, and he may not exactly deserve it. And then there are people who will use the media's biased criticism for their own needs, for their own personal gain, and honestly, that feels scarier than any gore I've ever seen in a Fincher film, because this all feels like real life, and it still feels socially relevant. People using news outlets to their advantage. Make sure your news outlets are trustworthy, guys. Another reason why this movie is so investing are these performances. Ben Affleck is unbelievably still one of the most underrated actors working today, in my opinion, and he arguably gives the best performance of his entire career in Gone Girl. And I think he was the perfect choice for this part, because even back in 2014, he was under a lot of media scrutiny. And this character similarly is facing a lot of criticism from the media who may not know the whole story. Even though he's the primary suspect in his wife's disappearance, he may not have done it, but because the news media sees him as a target, they will hammer down on him just for views and ratings. And that's not to say this guy is a great guy by any means. He does have his flaws. And I think that's one of the best things about this film, is Fincher leading the audience in. Did this guy really do it? Or maybe he didn't do it. Again, captivating mystery. And we get a lot of these answers from Rosamund Pike in her performance, and if you want to talk about career best performances, I mean, seriously, guys, Rosamund Pike disappears into this role. And I was just... oh, man. Yeah, she really started to irk me after a while. But that's the thing. When an actor can get you to feel really cheated, when a character can get that under your skin, if that was their intention, you know that they're a master at what they do. I'm so glad she was at least nominated for Best Actress at the Academy Awards, but this may just come down to personal taste. I feel like she at least deserved the win over Julianne Moore that year. Obviously, I think the acting is solid throughout, especially from the two leads. But there's a couple of surprising turns from two names who you might not have expected to see in a thriller like this. And I want to talk about both of them with you guys. First of all, Tyler freaking Perry. He plays Nick's lawyer Tanner Bolt in this film, which, coolest name ever. But he is so charming here. My goodness, such a likable presence to have to cancel out all the intense stuff. And a lot of his comedy, thank goodness, does not come from him wearing a grandmother's dress. But no, instead he drops a lot of really sarcastic zingers, which, being who I am, that's the kind of comedy I like. Speaking of actors who are usually known for comedy and musicals, rather, we get Neil Patrick Harris as the crazy ex-boyfriend who was stalking Rosamund Pike's character through high school. And he was fine. I don't have anything against Neil Patrick Harris at all. He is a supremely talented individual, and he's a nice guy to go along with it. But he's playing against type here. And sometimes that can play to an actor's advantage, like Tyler Perry in this movie, for example. But here, I felt like he was kind of exposed. I just don't think that he was the right actor for this kind of intense, crazy person, because a lot of his delivery just felt kind of flat to me. I mean, I could see a Jude Law doing this role, or if you want to get really crazy, you could have a Matt Damon doing this role, because besties with Ben Affleck, lol. Besides that one casting choice, I really don't have a ton of issues with Gone Girl. David Fincher did it again, y'all. His most recent film is one of his absolute strongest. I'm gonna give Gone Girl an A. If you haven't seen this film, what the heck are you waiting for? Definitely check it out. It'll make you rethink so many things about journalism and misleading information, and just... it really sticks with you guys. Again, make sure your news outlets are trustworthy. And of course, look out for the next installment in this Fincher series very soon. I've already reviewed all of his retro films, but the time has come. This Friday, I'm finally gonna be able to watch Mank. Oh, I'm so excited to talk about it with you guys. But look out for that review, as well as all of my other exciting content hitting the channel very soon. And if you guys want to stay up to date, if you guys want to continue discussing the cinema and all things entertainment with me, please consider hitting that subscribe button down below as hard as you possibly can. That way you guys can stay in the loop anytime I upload a new video, and we can discuss all the hottest new topics together. If you guys enjoyed this video also, please be sure to leave a thumbs up on your way out. I'd really appreciate that. You guys are awesome. Thank you once again for checking out the video. As always, look out for more exciting content hitting the channel very soon, as I've mentioned. And with all that being said, back talk commence.